Hi, welcome to Carmel Biology. My name is Melissa Hero, and I'm going to show you where to find the syllabus. So the first thing you want to do is go to the Carmel Biology webpage, which you can see on the screen right here. First, the biology webpage is shared by all the biology teachers here at Carmel. We have decided to teach the same labs and activities, so down here at the bottom of the page you'll find the units for both Semester 1 and Semester 2. And if you click on them, you will be able to find all the handouts, copies of notes, worksheets, etc. But for the syllabus, you are going to need to go to my portion of the web page. So on the left-hand side where it says the biology teachers, you are going to click on Miss Hero. Once you get to that page, you are going to see some information that's just specific to my biology classes. So first off is my email address. That is the best way to contact me. You can also contact me by clicking on the Contact Me portion of the subpage here, and on this page there will be a form that you could fill out with some information about you, what's the best way to reach you, and whatever questions, comments, or concerns that you have. If we go back to my main page, on the right hand side of the page there's also a copy of the syllabus, so we'll click there. And for the syllabus up at the top, it goes over what I'm asking students to do. First, I'd like students to print out this syllabus and include it in their notebook, in their info section of their binder. The last page of this document of the syllabus is the contract portion. And the contract needs to be signed by both the student and the parent or guardian and turned into me. So if you click down here on the PDF, that will open up the syllabus. And here in the syllabus, it has my email address, which again is the best way to contact me. And there are two websites. The first one is for Infinite Campus, and this is where students can check their grades as well as their attendance in classes. Parents can also check grades here. The second part is the web page that we were just on. And then on the right-hand side is when students can come in to see me. If students have questions, if they need to make up a test or an assignment, or if they want to get extra help, they're welcome to come in and see me at lunch in room S2. They can also come in after school, but they need to check with me to make sure that I am available that particular day that they want to come in. Now at the top part of the syllabus, it goes over our course and our objectives and what we're going to cover both semesters. If we go farther down, it talks about the items that students will need in class. They are going to need a spiral notebook, and the spiral notebook should be at least 100 pages, and it needs to be big enough that they can glue a sheet of paper into the page of the notebook without having their sheet of paper sticking out over the edges. So it should be at least 9 by 11 inches. Most of the notebooks that are that size have the little perforation where they can tear out the pages, and generally if it has that, it should be big enough to hold the 9 by 11, but you should definitely read the size of the notebook on the front of the notebook before you purchase it. Students will also need a binder for handouts, and it will be divided into 5 sections. One for information, one for handouts, one for labs, one for homework, and one for paper. Students will need number 2 pencils for Scantron tests where they bubble in answers. Generally, regular pencils work. Mechanical pencils also work for this. Students will need 5 colors of highlighters, pink, orange, yellow, green, and blue, to color code their notes and different assignments that we do. We'll also need pens and glue sticks. Sometimes I will give students notes that they fill in, and they're going to need to glue that into their spiral notebook, so they're going to need glue sticks throughout the school year. Students are also going to be required to use their homework planner to record homework assignments. And it could be the planner that the school provided, or they can use a calendar on their cell phone or mobile device. Students will also need headphones or earbuds. We're going to be using our mobile devices in class, as well as a class set of iPads. So I want students to be able to use their own headphones or earbuds so they're not sharing and getting germs or cooties from other students. And then I also, on the suggested list, not required, but it would be nice if students could bring their own cell phone or mobile device to class, so an iPod Touch, etc. We will have Wi-Fi access available, so they don't need to use up their data plans. Also, a calculator and colored pencils would be nice for students to have to use when we're doing different assignments. We are going to have a textbook that students can keep at home, and they don't need to bring it back and forth to class. They'll be checking out that from the library, but they can also access that same textbook at pearsonsuccessnet.com, and they'll be given the login information to sign up for that. It's on the website. We're also going to be testing out a new online textbook that is more interactive, and that's from ck12.org, and we will be setting up that account in class. The school-wide expected learning results are listed here, and we're going to be doing all these skills in class. On the next page of the syllabus, it is our course expectations, and it goes over our class rules and different positives that students will be rewarded with. One of the more kind of useful ones, I think, that we use a lot in class and students really enjoy is students can earn tickets for a drop an F drawing, where they can, if their ticket is drawn at the end of the quarter, they can drop an F grade. And if students don't have an F grade, it could be a C grade or whatever their lowest grade is. And generally this isn't on huge assignments, it's more for homework assignments. They can drop a low grade. Consequences for not following the classroom rules are listed here on the right, and students need to make sure that any items that are not allowed in class be kept put away. If we are using cell phones in class, they're welcome to use their cell phones and have them out, but they need to be using them for what the class assignment is. If they're texting their friends or on Facebook posting pictures of different things, their cell phones will be needed to be put away, and they will get a referral to the office for this. So again, we will be using cell phones and mobile devices in class, but they need to be used for what the intended purpose is of that lesson. Students will be graded on all their different assignments, and there are 3 different categories that we'll have in class. 60% of the grade is based on classwork, homework, and notes. We will be taking Cornell notes in this class, which I'll go over with the students in class. 30% of students' grade are exams and projects, and 10% is participation. And you can see how that's broken down here. There will be 2 projects in class that will be discussed later, and those are listed on the right here. Attendance. Being in class is extremely important. If a student is absent, they need to make up whatever work they missed. It is also important that students come to class on time. That means that they are sitting in their seat ready to go when the bell rings. If they're running in the door when the bell rings, they're tardy. If they are across the room chatting with their friend and the bell rings, they're tardy. So again, students need to be in their seat ready to go, because once that bell rings, class has started. And the bell does not signal the end of class. I will excuse students when we've finished. That means that all the equipment is put away, the iPads are put away, lab supplies, everything is ready to go. Then I will allow students to leave. Students earn participation points daily. They get 10 points a day, and if they are on time, they earn 5 points. The other 5 points are for active participation with no disruptions. So I'm not requiring that students raise their hand all the time and are constantly participating. Some students don't feel comfortable with that. So as long as they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they'll earn those 5 points. For exams in this class, I allow students to use a 3x5-inch note card on their exam. It does need to be handwritten. Students can also choose to use their notebook of notes on the exam. However, if they choose to do that, the maximum score they can earn is a 75%. So if a student earns, let's say, an 80 out of 100 while using their notebook, they will get a 75%. If a student earns a 70 out of 100 while using their notebook, that's their grade, the 70. Students need to decide before the test whether they're going to use their notebook or not, and they can't change their mind after the test begins. For assignments and classwork, they're going to again be listed on the web page that you saw at the beginning of this presentation. And when students come into class, they're going to pick up all the handouts. If they're absent, they are responsible for getting their work out of the makeup box. Students have up until the day of the unit exam to turn in any late work, and if they're not going to be here the day an assignment is due, they have 2 options. One is to turn it in early, or to give it to a friend to turn in. Or they can submit the work ahead of time. And it's the student's responsibility to turn in all assignments and to get their assignments if they were absent. And again, most of the work is on the web page so that they can access that from home if they are absent. If you are absent the day of an exam or quiz, you need to make up the test or the quiz the day that you return, so at lunch that day. Quarter projects and extra credit projects cannot be turned in late. Students have a month, 2 months to work on these assignments, so they need to turn them in the day they're due. If they're absent the day they're due, they need to either email them to me or send them in with a friend or turn them in the day before or have someone drop it off at school. The honor code is next. Students need to do their own work. They can't copy off of the internet. They can't copy off of their friends. They can't give answers to their friends. If a student is caught not doing their own work or giving answers or lending homework to other students, everyone involved will get a 0 on the assignment. To improve a grade, there are some tips here. One thing I highly recommend is that students and parents sign up for Remind 101. Remind 101 is a free texting or email service that students can get reminders from me of different assignments and their due dates, as well as maybe reminders if we're meeting in the computer lab instead of in the classroom. And again, I'm available outside of class for students anytime they have questions or need extra help. And there's a note here for parents that basically I can't notify you every time there's a change in your student's behavior or grades, so the best way to keep track of your student is to look at the grades on Infinite Campus. The progress reports come out every 4 to 5 weeks, and that lists any student's progress or behavior on that. So, but if you have questions, please email me and I'll get back to you anytime. So if you want to know how your student's doing in class, email is the best way to get a hold of me, and I'll be happy to give you an update. The next page goes over our cell phone and mobile device guidelines. And again, I would like to use cell phones in the classroom. Students have cell phones, they're using them all the time. They're texting their friends, they're on Facebook, but cell phones, even though to students may seem to be toys, for a classroom they can be a powerful tool. So I would like to use cell phones or mobile devices such as an iPod Touch, iPads, etc. in class. And so I'm encouraging students to bring them. Now, I realize not every student has one of these devices, so it's not a requirement, and there will definitely be ways for students to either use iPads that I have, or I will have students working in groups where they only need one device per group. But I want to make sure that students know their minutes, how many minutes they have, their data usage, how many texts they get, because I don't want them to go over that while using it in class. We do have Wi-Fi for students, so hopefully they can connect to the Wi-Fi and won't have to worry about using any of their minutes or data. So please read through this cell phone and mobile device guidelines so that you can understand what the school is requiring, and that we are not going to be held responsible if the student does go over their minutes. So please talk to your child to make sure that they know exactly how much they can use it, when they could use it, etc. So there's some guidelines here. Also, students need to be responsible for their device so that they don't lose it, that they don't damage it, and that they respect themselves, their own property, the school's property, and other students' property. Then the next 2 pages are lab safety guidelines, which go over the rules. Since this is a science class, we might be using chemicals, we might be using an open flame, and we want to make sure that students are safe in this classroom. Safety is our #1 priority for the students. So please read through these next 2 pages. And then the very last page is the contract. So students need to fill out their name, their period, and read and sign the bottom of the student section, and then parents I asked to do the same right here. If you have any questions, please contact me and I will be happy to talk to you over the phone or through email. Thank you very much.